Hello Craftees, Rose here, and welcome to a tutorial on Yarn Craftee. So this tutorial will show you how to make this tank top, seashell crochet tank top, which is great for the summer weather. It's made from two panels, front and back, which are done in the same way, and the strap is also made and sewn onto the body of the top, and the sides are also joined. It's a relatively easy pattern to make because it's repetitive. The stitch pattern is repetitive, so it's easy to memorize, and a Netflix and chill kind of project. This is a DK weight yarn. This is yarn out Adore anti-piling and 4mm hook. Sorry, you could use cotton yarn as well. This is actually acrylic yarn. Yeah, so check the gauge. If you want to use another kind of yarn, check the gauge to ensure that it matches, so that it can be for the right size that you are making. Okay, let's dive in. So this pattern is done in a multiple of 6 plus 2 at the end. So you chain a multiple of 6 times, 10 6 times, 9 6 times, 5, and then you add 2 to that number that you have. So please refer to the written pattern to know how many chains you're going to make for the size that you want to do. For this tutorial, I am going to chain 92. And now I'm going to do single crochet stitches across the row. So I'll skip the first stitch and do single crochet stitches. I like to work here at the back. So single crochet into each of the chains across. So that means I'm going to have 91 chains at the end of the row, because I have skipped one chain at the beginning of the row. So single crochet across the row into each of the chains. Okay, heading on to row 2, chain 1 turn, single crochet into the first stitch. Chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch. Okay, skip 1 2 stitches into the third stitch. We're going to do a shell, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet all into the same stitch. Skip 1 2 stitches, single crochet in the next stitch, skip 1 2 stitches, shell in the next, which is double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. All right, one more time. Skip 1 2 stitches, single crochet into the third stitch, skip 1 2 stitches, double crochet, shell stitch in there, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. So that's how we work row 2. So we want to repeat this across the row. Skip 2 stitches, single crochet into the third stitch, skip 2 stitches, and shell, double crochet, shell stitch in the in the third. So DC, chain 1, DC, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. So repeat this across the row. And we're ending the row with a single crochet. So skip 2 stitches, single crochet into the last stitch, chain 1 2 3 4, turn and chain 4. Okay, double crochet into the same stitch, because this is the last stitch on row 2. We want to do a double crochet in there, that very first stitch. So that chain 4 and the chain 4 and double crochet stands for 1 double crochet, chain 1, and 1 double crochet, because chain 3 in crochet is equivalent to 1 double crochet, and then we have the chain 1 in the middle, and then we have another double crochet right into the same stitch. So now into the middle stitch here, this you see we have 3 double crochet stitches here. So into this middle stitch we will do a single crochet, okay, and in this single crochet, if we turn, we'll see the single crochet here. Into the single crochet we will do our shell, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. All right, in middle stitch, which this double crochet, make a single crochet, and in this single crochet we'll make a shell of double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. All right, repeat again in the middle stitch here, which is double crochet. This sets we're going to do single crochet into the middle stitch there, which the middle stitch is the double crochet, and in this single crochet we will do our shell stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. All right, we're going to repeat this across the row. So single crochet into the next stitch, which is the middle stitch here, and then do the shell stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the single crochet stitches. So so the sequence is single crochet into the double crochet, and then the shell, the 3DC shell stitch into the single crochet stitches. All right, I'll see you at the end of the row. All right, and in the last stitch here, after the last single crochet, we have one last stitch here, which is a single crochet from row 2. We're going to do a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet, okay, to mirror what we have from the beginning of the row here. Chain 1 and turn into our first stitch here, which is the last double crochet we did on the row. We'll do a double crochet, and into the single crochet do our double crochet shells, our shell stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. You see that this is a repetition of row 2, and into the middle stitch here, single crochet, and into the single crochet here, shell stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. All right, in the middle stitch, single crochet, in the single crochet stitch, shell stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. All right, we'll repeat this across the row. Single crochet into the middle stitch, and then middle stitch meaning this double crochet that's in the shell stitch, the double crochet in the center, and shell stitch in the single crochet. Repeat it across the row. Alrighty, and at the end of the row I'm going to make a single crochet. That's after the last shell stitch. So remember we have a chain 4 here when we chained 4 and turned. So into 1, 2, 3, into the top of chain 3, I'm going to make a single crochet stitch. I'm not going to work into the chain. I'm not going to just go into the space like this, no. I'm going to go into the chain itself and do the last single crochet. All right, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, turn, and double crochet into the very first stitch, or rather the last stitch on the previous row. So this is a repetition of row, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so from row 5 upward, we're going to be repeating rows 3 and 4. What you want to do is rewind this video and see how those are done and repeat. After we do that, we've shaped in the armhole and we will make the strap and we'll join at the sides and we're done. Oh, we'll also trim and we're done. Alright, so I have the number of rows needed for this size and it's time to decrease. So I'm going to snip this yarn, okay, because this is the last row here. Snip the yarn and turn. We're going to decrease 3 times. So I will skip all these and into the shell stitch, the middle stitch there, I'm going to join yarn again. And chain 1, single crochet into that same stitch in that same space and shell stitch in the next single crochet. So chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and single crochet into the middle stitch of the shell and shell stitch in the next stitch, which is a single crochet, chain 1 and double crochet. So I'm going to repeat this. We're going to repeat this across the row up to the very last shell stitch here. And I'm going to finish with single crochet into the middle stitch there. Okay, I will snip yarn. I know it seems like a hassle to keep snipping yarn, but for this design, that's how it goes. So turn and repeat again. Join yarn in the middle stitch there of the shell stitch. Chain 1, single crochet into that same stitch. And carry on, shell stitch, alright, and single crochet into the next shell stitch in the next. Repeat that till the end, to the last last shell stitch here, and repeat it one more time. So that's, we're doing it 3 times. So I've done it 1 time now, and this is the 2nd time, and we'll do it again a 3rd time. And single crochet into the last. So this is the 3rd, okay, so this is the 3rd decrease, starting from here, 1, 2 and 3. So on the 3rd decrease we'll continue, we'll extend the top. So from the 3rd decrease here, I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4. And double crochet into the same stitch and single crochet in middle stitch there, and shell stitch into the next stitch. And single crochet into the middle shell stitch there. Alright, and continue to repeat that across the row. Shell stitch, single crochet, shell stitch, single crochet, across the row. And in the last stitch, which is a single crochet, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, turn. And repeat single crochet into the first stitch, shell stitch in the next stitch, which is the single crochet stitch. Alright, repeat this. Single crochet in the next middle stitch, shell stitch in the single crochet stitch. Repeat across the row. And single crochet into the top of chain 3 there. That's that chain 4 that we had at the beginning of the previous row. Single crochet. Alright, so we're going to repeat these 2 rows, chain 4, turn, and double crochet into the first stitch, and single crochet in the middle stitch, shell stitch in the single crochet stitch. Okay, and then we go on to the next, which begins with a single crochet. So we're going to repeat those 2 rows. We're going to repeat this 2 more times. So this I repeat, these 2 I repeat once, and I repeat again. So that means we have 4 rows left. It's 4 rows to make. 4 more rows to make. Please don't forget to check the written pattern for the size you're making for the necessary adjustments. Okay, I'm going to repeat this, and I will see you at the end of the repeats, because it's basically the same thing we are repeating. So the last row will be the row that begins with a single crochet stitch at the beginning and ends with single crochet at the end. And once you're done, snip the yarn and make a second panel. Make a second panel. So we have 2 panels that we're going to join at the sides. So you want to make sure that the wrong side, when you want to join, make sure that the wrong side of both the last row and the first rows are facing up. Okay, this is the first row and this is the last row. They are both on the wrong side now. And want to join, want to sew it up from, sew it all the way from down here up to the very last row before the decreases, before this decrease began. You want to make sure you're matching each row to each row. Once we close up the sides, we will attach the strap. So I'm going to make this strap now. A multiple of 6. We'll make a multiple of 6 chains plus 2. So that is multiple of 6 chains 10 times plus 2. So that's 62 chains. So I'm going to skip the first chain. Skip the first chain and into the second chain single crochet. skip 1 2 chains, in the next chain shell stitch, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, skip 1 2 chains, single crochet in the next chain, skip 1 2 chains, shell stitch in the next chain. Alright, we're going to repeat this across the row. Skip 2 chains, single crochet into the third chain, skip 2 chains, shell stitch into the third chain. Repeat it across the row. Alright, and single crochet into the last stitch. So I'll skip the last two stitches and single crochet into the third. Chain 1 2 3 4, turn. Double crochet into that same stitch and single crochet in the middle shell stitch, shell stitch in the single crochet stitch. So this is a repeat of all the rows we've done before, but this is just going to be 5 rows. And single crochet into the middle stitch there of the shell stitch into the single crochet stitch. Repeat this across the row. And we'll end the row with a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, turn, single crochet, row 3, single crochet into the first stitch and shell stitch in the single crochet stitch. Alright, so repeat this across the row. Single crochet in the middle shell stitch, middle stitch there, shell stitch in the single crochet stitch. Repeat across. And single crochet into the top of chain 3, chain 4, turn, and repeat rows 2 and 3. So in all we're going to have 5 rows for the strap. Alright, now we're going to sew this across like this. I left a little tail here as well to use for the back. Okay, let me turn this inside out. So the right side of the strap is the right side of the first and last rows are on the right side when they face out. When they face up like this, they are on the right side. But because I'm sewing from the wrong side, I'm going to turn it so that it's facing the wrong side as well. And to just sew it, use your preferred sewing joining method. I'll go back again, okay, to secure that place. I'm going to pass it back again so that I have a secure sewing. It is now time to trim this side here, the armhole. Okay, so this is where this is my last stitch here. This is the last stitch before the decrease began. See that? The decrease began on here with this single crochet. This is the last row of even stitch, then we joined. So that place was marked. So I'm going to start, this is one stitch. I'm going to start in the next stitch here, which is the middle stitch of the shell stitch. We're going to join our yarn there. Make sure that the right side of your top is facing up. Okay, the right side, how do you know the right side? The last row here and the first row here are facing the right side. So that tells us we're on the right side. Alright, we want to join the yarn into that middle stitch. Chain 1 and we're going to be carrying all these tails and single crochet into that same stitch, and there's another stitch there which is the the next which is the next stitch on the shell stitch, and in this single crochet here we make one stitch. So I'm doing single crochet into each of these stitches. Single crochet, and I have another stitch here, single crochet, and here single crochet only into the stitches, not into the chain 1 between the shells. Single crochet and single crochet. Okay, so we have done single crochet across the decreases. Now on this even row we're just going to make one single crochet into each of the stitch rows. Single crochet. In the next stitch row I make another single crochet. Take your time and do this because maybe be a bit challenging to identify which stitch is which, but you know that one stitch row begins with a single crochet, the other stitch row begins with a shell stitch. So we're making one single crochet into each of them. And I'm going to make the last single crochet here. Okay, so that is done. Now we're heading on to the strap. On the strap, you see, well, when you sew your strap, the first row should be facing outside. Okay, and in these chain twos, okay, not chain twos, in these spaces here, you know, we skipped 2 chains at the beginning on row 1. We skip 2 chains. So into those 2 chains we will make 2 single crochet stitches. Two single crochets. We will skip this shell entirely. There's a shell here because this is facing upside down right now, so there's a shell here, and then there's these 2 chains again that we skipped. Into that space right there we'll make another, yep, we'll make 2 single crochets. Okay, skip the next stitch as well into the 2 chains that we skipped. on row 1, we'll make another 2 single crochets, and we'll carry on 2 single crochets into each of the chain 2s, the spaces there, the skip chain 2s. And the last 2 single crochets. Now we're going back to the body, and single crochet, 1 single crochet into each stitch row. Okay, I'm not at the decrease part yet. This is where the decrease begins. Okay, for here, this is where it ends. So from here now, I'm going to be making single crochet, 1 single crochet into each of these stitches that I see here, because these are the decrease. This is the decrease part. So single crochet in next stitch, single crochet, single crochet, single crochet. Please don't be like me. When you snip your yarn, weave them in. I have a very naughty habit of not weaving in my tails. I wait till the very end, and then I carry everything along. Okay, right there. It was a bit confusing with the chain 1. Okay, single crochet and single crochet. Oh, the yarn is split here. Single crochet, single crochet. Here's my next stitch, single crochet, single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch. And we have a last stitch. Okay, we have a last stitch. I have a single crochet and the last stitch here, which is actually joined to the other panel. In this last stitch here, and in this last stitch here, and this marked stitch here, we're going to join together with decrease SC2 together. Single crochet, don't finish off, and single crochet, SC2 together. Finish off and snip yarn and weaving tails. I'm going to weave in those tails. So this is what it's going to look like when you finish. When you finish on this side, turn and complete the same for the other side of the strap. And And we're all done. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope that you make one, and I hope that you wear it. I love to see your version, your colors. So don't be shy. Tag at Yarn Craftee on Instagram. If you're not on Instagram, I'm on Facebook as well at Yarn Craftee, or you can contact me. Feel free to use the contact form on www.yarncraftee.com, and I'll be really happy to see your version. Thank you once again for joining me on this tutorial. Don't forget that we have lots of other tutorials on this channel, so you can check them out. Alright then, I'll see you in the next video tutorial. God bless you. Bye.